looks a lot different now than it did when I came up in 1989 for the first time, fishing with my buddy Hagman. This was a mail rutting house for the General Electric Corporation in 1906. And they would come up here with their executives for a retreat, and it wasn't taken that much care of. There was no glazing in the windows, so you had to cook in a parka because it was so cold in the kitchen. And when my wife decided that this was a place we would live, and I said, okay, well, we'll go up. She said, well, one thing, it has to be pretty. My wife had perfect pitch. She could play concert piano. She was a ballerina. She lived a life that was artistic, and I was drawn into that from a sort of narrow artistic point of view. That was not the beginning of my education, but that was probably my doctorate, what influenced my life from the age of 22 when I met her. When the boys went off to college, and my wife and I looked around and said, it's time to move. We knew that we were going to move here. And it was at that moment we had to, I guess, admit to ourselves that we're not just dilettante grabbers of framed things. There's a theme here, and the last thing that I ever would have thought I would do would be build an art gallery in my home. But it was not a choice that could not be made. I don't know if my wife and I ever set out to do anything, but when we got together and started living together, my wife's ballet company came back from tour in New Orleans. She had gone to an exhibit of Charles Bragg, and she spent probably an entire week's salary on this little Charles Bragg print, which we have to this day, which will not be in the sale, of course. But that was the first piece that I held in my hand, and first of all, realizing that we wouldn't have bacon for breakfast for a month because she spent the money. The second thought immediately came into mind was, how wonderful that we have this treasure. And it went from every cockroach apartment we lived in, and then when fortune smiled professionally, we started augmenting that with other pieces. Dallas provided an amazing opportunity. It allowed us to look at what we wanted to do most. So this is the house that Dallas built, and the gallery is full of the art that Dallas bought. Well, it's no longer a parking structure, but that's what it started out to be until we decided to move up permanently and had to have a place to put all this. This is just an Avery. It's an amazing thing. The Milton Avery was an accident. We had looked in the catalog and saw a Prendergast that we thought was great. Then they were having a showing in Los Angeles, and we got invited to come there, and they sat us at a table, and the Prendergast was over there, and right in front of us was that stinking Avery. And we couldn't take our eyes off of it. The Avery is the most modern piece of work that we have. Not the most recently painted, but it's certainly the most modern. If you stare at it long enough, it becomes more than a seamstress. It becomes planes of color, but it's breathing, it's living. Almost every piece of art that's up there, I have a movie, a short story, or a novel that goes instantly through my brain when I look at that piece of work. We talk about it all the time, and sometimes we would tell each other the stories, and we'd think, really? That's what you see? You know, Wyeth. The minute we bought this place, every time we'd turn a corner and see a small piece of the creek or a little dilapidated house like the homestead at the front gate, we go, oh, that's a Wyeth. Wyeth should have painted that. So Wyeth was always in our consciousness, but the door never opened until The Bachelor. I can't pass that in the gallery without stopping and adding another chapter in the story of this bachelor. I can remember doing a film in Australia, and I had a fax machine put in my hotel room so that we could communicate, and I could draw little cartoons for the boys before they went to school. And out rolled The Bachelor. Carlyn got the page out of the catalog, and she said, "This is spectacular." And even the cheesy waxy paper representation of it was amazing. That was the beginning. The next one was the Jamie Wyeth. That spoke to me. The fact that the calf was tied made me then make a scenario about why. And why was it inside? It was a story, it was a short story. And he painted that calf in the barn when he was 17 years old. So that was the second Wyeth. Then the killer was Perpetual Care. I'm a bit surprised that I like Perpetual Care, to be quite honest, because I looked at it like something was not wrong, but atonal. And then I read, Wyeth said when he was painting Perpetual Care that in the window at the top of the church, he always thought he could see a young girl dressed in a white dress looking out. And there is no girl in a white dress looking out there. And I thought, that's an amazing effect of a painting. And then I talked to his son, Nicky Wyeth, and he said it was one of Andrew Wyeth's favorite paintings, and it hung in their home, and that he grew up looking at that painting, and now it's in my gallery. Both my wife and I have a basic attitude that your appreciation of art is involuntary. Consistently, the art that we have been drawn to, and one of them is the Leon Kroll painting, has a connection at some point in our past. I looked at that in the catalog and I thought, I just love that painting. So we got it. Much later, my sister came to visit, and I said, I don't know what it was, but I just had to have it. She says, I know why you had to have it. And I said, why? She said, I'm not going to tell you, but next time I come up, I'll show you. And next time she came up, she brought this photograph. This is a photograph of my parents in Montana, probably in the 50s, maybe the 40s. And it was in a family album, and it's the essence of that painting. When a married couple, or any couple, is a team in terms of acquiring things, they have two responsibilities. One is to honor their own tastes, and the second one is to honor the opinion of another taste. I would probably still have poster art with holes in the corner if I wasn't open to the inclusion of the knowledge and passion that my wife had. As we were fortunate enough to be able to feed our passion, it more than returned sustenance, which is why the art needs to go somewhere else now, because the art never depletes its capability of sustaining other people's passions. It forever has that capability.